We've made a voodoo mother of a beer, but ultimately it's for you guys to decide if the Peterman, this extinct beer style, is going to remain with the dead or come back to the land of the living.
And what else do you have that could give us some inspiration?
Well, we're looking to resurrect the style, so we just came out with a new beer we call Rebirth Pale Ale. All three of our brewmasters collaborated together with this beer. It's got Citra and Simcoe hops.
The hops just explode out of the glass and it's just an avalanche of hoppy awesomeness.
We get a lot of fruit flavors as well, which is really nice.
Are there any sort of fruits that are particular to Louisiana?
One I'm really interested in trying is this Mayhaw. It's called a Mayhaw because it ripens in May.
What's it called? A Mayhaw?
Mayhaw, so M-A-Y like the month and haw like yeehaw. It's got apple flavors, some sour notes. It's a very unique Louisiana fruit.
So if we could take the Mayhaw, a fruit that is indigenous and local to Louisiana, I think it'd be great to infuse it in the beer. Since this beer is about coming back from the dead, it would be great if we could somehow use an ingredient that's also came back from the dead.
And that sounds great. We're ingrained in the voodoo culture, and there are people around that could hopefully give us something that might taste good in a beer and not make us sick.
Derek, what other beers do you have that we could maybe try?
Swamp Grape Escape. It's a Belgian single with muscadine grapes. Muscadines are known as a swamp grape because they grow in the swamp, so it's a local ingredient.
It's got hints of cherry, but it's also got that slight wine-like character. And the fact that it's called Swamp Grape, how about if we actually brewed the beer on the swamp?
Come to New Orleans, if you leave the city, you ended up in the swamp whether you like it or not.
I think it would be a good idea to actually use swamp water to make the beer with.
I don't know if we should be putting that into the beer.
It's completely stupid, but it's never stopped us before.
Having settled on brewing their Resurrection Peterman beer with swamp water, the guys head down to LaRouche Parish to see what they're up against and figure out the details with their chief engineer, David Donnelly.
Hey, gentlemen.
Good to see you, David. Welcome to the Louisiana Swamp.
So we're in New Orleans to make a zombie beer.
Yes.
We're taking a beer that hasn't been made for decades, the Peterman, and we're taking it back to life.
We not only want to brew it on a swamp, we actually want to brew it with the swamp.
Ooh.
Taste it and see if you think it'll work. Oh, yuck. Stop drinking that.
Yeah, well, you've given me the willies just watching you do it.
I'm not giving you any willies.
I'm pretty sure after you drank that later on today, you'll wish you were dead.
It's so important to use the swamp water, but I don't think we can use it in this state.
When we're actually brewing, we will be boiling the wort, so technically it'll sterilise it, but...
It's got stuff in it.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about.
I think there might be an alligator over there, and he looks hungry. This is not how I like to start beer making. I think David's stopping. He must have found the perfect spot to start the water purification.
Now, if David's filtration system works, the guys can start making their dream of brewing a conceptually disgusting beer come true.
Fire that up. Do we have any water coming out there?
Negative.
Nope. Any minute now.
We got swamp water.
So this is the filtered swamp water filling up the mash tun. If it doesn't taste good and we can't use it, we've got no backup plan at all.
There's still a couple of things floating in there. Actually doesn't taste too bad.
Good.
It's a little bit in the stale and musty side, but overall I think it's good enough to make the beer, and it's the best way to get this dark, twisted soul of Louisiana into the beer itself. So the whole theme is taking something back from the dead, and we'd like to put an ingredient into it that we can take back to the land of the living.
This is a perfect place for it. I'll show you a few ingredients you might want to consider. All of these herbs have multiple purposes. Some of them are medicinal and some are magical. I've got some horny goat weed. You want to try that?
Oh, I would love that. Oh, that's very bitter.
But hops are pretty bitter too, aren't they?
Yeah, but we don't want too many hops in this beer. But I do start to feel my member throbbing.
When couples kiss with some of this orris root under their tongue, it means they'll be in love forever. So I'm gonna have you each put this under your tongue. All right, how's it taste?
It tastes like love.
Look at him, he's so beautiful.
Go for it. You see how voodoo reveals all the stuff you don't want to show to anybody?
A little too much.
Remember, there's a connection here between resurrection and love and sexuality and death. All these things are intertwined. Let me show you one more of these amazing plants. This is a rose of Jericho, and it's also referred to as a resurrection plant.
Looks like a little ball of tumbleweed.
It's exactly what it's like.
Is this dead?
It's not dead, it's just resting. This can go through absolute and complete dehydration in the desert, and then you give it a drop of water and it opens up and turns green again. It's used in all kinds of magical work and voodoo, so if there's something that you really want to resurrect, the rose is going to hold on to that wish, and it's going to let you have it again.
More importantly, what flavors is it going to add to the beer?
Well, it's a very piney flavor, but y'all try it. You tell me.
Smells a little bit herbal, almost sage-like, but definitely the taste is more piney.
And a lot of the hops that we love adding to the beer have that piney, resinous element to them. We're not going to be adding much hops to this beer, so I think we can get a lot of these flavors from the Resurrection Rose of Jericho.
Just like those French Quarter houses, all crackled and old on the outside, but they're beautiful on the inside.
This is the ultimate zombie plant. Piney, oily, resiny, with a huge hit of white pepper as well. I think it's going to play so well off the beer.
So which ones are the good ones?
The redder they are, the better, long as they're not soft. You know, if they're red and firm, that's what you want.
These are delicious. It's like a mixture of a white peach, a little bit of strawberry, and some gala apple.
They're delicious. So much flavor in there, and a nice bit of sharp bitterness too.
It does. Has that little bite, doesn't it?
And the green ones, are they just unripe?
Yeah. They're not quite right.
The green ones taste a little bit like a cooking apple or a gooseberry.
Right.
They're a bit sharper.
I'll find you a bucket and you can fill it up.
JJ, the type of beer that we're making is actually a little bit sour, and the green ones tend to be a little bit sharper. So maybe we should focus on picking the green ones.
Yeah, okay.
That might make a better choice for the beer.
That sounds good.
And that's going to play really well in this Peterman beer style.
Toss them in.
Just leave a few for my afternoon snack.
That looks good to me.
What we also have that we could put a little bit in is this amazing MAYHAWS jelly. For me, it's kind of like blackberry, a little bit of tayberry as well. Okay, that's plenty.
Just one more. One more.
Okay, enough. That boiling water is hot.
We've made a voodoo mother of a beer, but ultimately it's for you guys to decide if the Peterman, this extinct beer style, is going to remain with the dead or come back to the land of the living. So, let's taste it. You've got to get to know the beer. So, bonus points for Scottish accent. Hello. How are you?
My beer smells exciting. It does.
So guys, what did you think of the first ever zombie beer?
Eccentric, it has character, and it's full of flavor. Ça c'est bon.
That Granny Smith tartness just up in the front really got me.
It goes down very smooth and easy, just like the Big Easy in New Orleans.
I think the flavor is really good, but it does smell like it was made with swamp water.
Not gonna lie, it smelled like dirty diaper.
So are you saying you didn't like it?
It was light, crisp, got a nice sour on the end.
And what do you think of the fact we made it with swamp water?
That's awesome. I think that's phenomenal.
Absolutely phenomenal.
I think that gives it just a unique New Orleans twist.